morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the Bronx Queens Bros podcast, better known as the BQB podcast. I'm Big B, we got Big D, and we also got Jack B. Dave, how you doing?
Well, V, I think we're all looking good, feeling good today. I love the polo. Jack repping the BQB merch. And then I'm wearing a sweater and a tie just so that my opinions matter a little bit more than your guys's. But, Jack, how we doing today?
Doing good back in the Yankee hat today. I feel good, but not so good as a Yankee fan. Bit of a tough couple series for the Yanks and the Mets too. So we're going to break down the last series. We're going to get into our segments. We got a few rants here and there, and then maybe preview some of the next series, and we're going to have a good episode. But first, V.
That's right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you already know that this episode is sponsored by one of the best kept secrets in northern New Jersey. Engineering and Design Concepts, a small company doing big things. They specialize in product development, manufacturing, and test equipments. If you or anyone you know need assistance in that field, they are the company you need to contact. The link to their website will be in the description below. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Mets got like about 30, pounds of rain this past couple days out here. We're New Jersey guys, New York guys, and the Mets got rained out a bunch. Friday night, the game ends after 5 innings because of rain, and it's a weird loss. Mets lose 4-0, but I don't know if the Mets would end up winning that game. No momentum on our end, but that's a weird way to lose a game. And then no rain. Rained out Saturday. Rained out Sunday. It was supposed to be a 4-game series. They put one of the games in. They moved it to August, and they have a doubleheader today on Monday, which is today. At the time of recording, the Mets had already lost the first game, which was a 9-8 loss, which was very nice to see them fight back. And as we speak, I'm watching the game on the sidelines here. Mets have a 5-3 lead. I will give you guys live updates as we continue. But I'm going to first jump right. I'm going to skip over Friday's game. That was a wash. It was pretty rough seeing David Peterson allow another home run to Matt Olson. I don't know why this guy's still pitching to him. I can vividly remember like 3 home runs Olson has hit off this guy already. I don't know how you give him anything to hit. Tough to see. Peterson ends up getting sent down. He's looked really bad, and I thought that this is what was going to happen. Peterson just hasn't looked good. He's looked absolutely horrible. And it's tough to see because he had an amazing spring training, an amazing year last year, and you really had high hopes for him to be like a 4 guy and a really good 4 guy in this rotation, and he looks horrible. So that's tough to see. But in today's game, the Mets made some really weird decision by starting Denny Reyes. They decided to go for a bullpen game in game 1 when I think they could have called Jose Budo up to make the start, a guy who could give you 4 or 5 innings. Denny Reyes went 1 inning and allowed 5 fucking runs. So I don't understand the concept here. And, you got to win a game when you're scoring 8 runs, in my opinion. You can't be losing that type of game. A lot of relievers kind of sucked ass in this game. It was just brutal. Mets offense did look pretty good against Spencer Strider, though, which is good to see. It seems like they have his number. I think I saw a stat earlier today on Twitter. He has like a 5 ERA career against the Mets, but against everybody else in the league, his ERA is like a 2.5. So it's funny. I hate him because he always says the Mets just like dink and doink him, and that they're lucky against him. But Alonso Big Meat Pete went right center field for a 3-run home run today. So I don't know if that's a little doink. Sorry, I just have to say it. And and this game currently, Tyler McGill, Jack B's favorite guy, he actually had a pretty good start to the game. He ended up allowing the 3-run double. Eddie Rosario hit off him in the 6th, so that was a tough little spoiler. But Francisco Alvarez, 2-run double to give the Mets the lead. The inning after that, which was amazing to see. And I'll get into a special player that had a good game as well in the first game very shortly.
Yeah, cool, V. I think, a bit of a tough couple days for the Mets there with the weather, but it is what it is, and you gotta worry about the things you can control, right? So you're gonna have we know it far too well that in this area you're going to have a lot of games rained out, especially in April and May, and when it gets into the later months with the thunderstorms. But yeah, I'll just touch on the Yanks really quick. We actually talked about, I think, one and a half of these games, so I'll just quickly go over them. Game one against the Rangers, we would win. Garrett Cole was on the bump, ended up allowing 2 runs. I think he had 8 strikeouts. Home runs from DJ Glaber and Trevino. Yeah, nice 4-2 Yankees win, and capped off with a nice Aaron Hicks error in the outfield. Yeah, he's delightful out there. Game two, Clark Schmidt just continues not to have it out there. 5-2 loss, and the offense really went to shit because Aaron Judge was on the lineup. Now, obviously, today they announced he's going to be on the IL. So he did not play in game two. He also did not play in game three, where Nathan Eovaldi, another former Yankee, absolutely shut us down. He went for a complete game shutout. Yankees only got 3 hits. Joni Brito pitched pretty well, but, I mean, allowed 2 runs over 5 innings. Can't really ask for much more out of a rookie pitcher, but, offense really didn't help him out at all. And then Game 4 was probably one of the most embarrassing games I've ever watched as a Yankee fan, losing 15-2. And I wrote down here joke, because it was a joke of a game. Nestor let up a grand slam in the first, and that was really the game. We scored 2 runs. Offense has mounted 4 runs in 3 games without Aaron Judge, obviously without Stanton still. And yeah, it's just more of the same. More of the same stuff me and Dave have been talking about with the Yanks. A very top-heavy team that just has not been able to figure it out. And, it's crazy to think, but, our roster, and we'll get into it, but just how thin it actually is. We have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who really should be a backup middle infielder, third baseman, playing center field for us because we have no outfielders, and, the injuries have just completely handicapped us. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Dave, anything to add about the Yanks?
The only thing I really have to add is this is probably the most excited I've been for your segment, Jack. I think I know you got one prepared for us. You got one prepared for the fans. It's really going to be a doozy. So I don't really have much commentary. I kind of just want to get into that segment. But before we get into that segment, my other favorite segment, V's ready to cook something up on the hot stove. V, crank it up.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to Vitan's Hot Stove. So listen, folks, today I got one guy on the Mets. I could have given it to 2. But one guy I was thinking about, I'm going to tell you the guy. I was thinking about giving it to McNeil. McNeil, who just hit a home run, actually, while Jack B was talking here. I was going to give it to him, but I'm going to give it to the guy who Mets fans and Big V, Jack B already said I'm a Brett Beatty advocate. Mr. Brett Beatty, you have made Vitan's Hot Stove. The last 7 games, he's 10 for 22 with 2 home runs. And I don't know if you guys saw it yet from the first game. Off a lefty reliever who's only allowed 2 home runs prior to Brett Beatty to a left-handed batter, hit an absolute missile of a home run. Just an impressive feat of strength from a young kid. He looks really comfortable at the plate. He's got a season average up over 300, I think 330, 340. He's looking fantastic. He's looking like everything Mets fans been wanting him to do. Next big thing is he's got to move up in this lineup. He cannot keep batting 8th. I get it. You want to have a nice bat down there. But right now, Vogelback just isn't really cutting it. I would love to see, maybe Beatty in the 6th spot. I feel like that'd be, it's only 2 spots up, but maybe more RBI opportunities. Alvarez is looking like he's picking it up a little bit too, but I'm not going to get into all that yet because just some horrible lineup decisions. I don't understand why Buck likes to leave like Marte in the 2-hole all the time, and leaving Lindor in the 3-hole all the time. McNeil, I think, is a perfect 2-hitter. You can move Marte in the 5 or 6 hole, give him more RBI opportunity. I don't know. That's me because, I don't understand his concept when it comes to the bullpen. Putting Robertson. Right now I'm watching David Robertson. He just pitched the 8th and he's pitching the 9th. Why burn him? I don't know. You got Ottavino. Maybe, maybe not. I haven't been listening. Maybe he's not healthy or something. I know he's in pitch in a couple of days. There's some stuff I just don't get that he does. I get it. They're the professionals. They do what they want to do. But I'm going to give you guys a hot take right here. And it's not about the Mets. It's going to be about the New York Yankees, Mr. Jack B. The way I've been watching the Yankees play has really just disappointed me because I said it on here. I thought they were going to win 97 games this year. Now, they very well could. This is very early, and I might be overreacting, and I don't give a fucking shit because I can do it because this is Vuitton's hot stuff. I'm telling you this right now, Jack B. The Yankees will not finish first or second in the division this year. I'm not saying they won't make the playoffs. They will not finish first or second in the division at the end of the season. I'm telling you, they may sneak into the playoffs as a wild card team. They might still win 97 games for all I know. But I'm telling you right now, they will not be in first or second in their division by the end of the year.
V, I wish I could argue with you here, but the way things have looked so far, I mean, the Rays, I know I had them a little bit low on my power rankings, but they look like they are one of the best teams in baseball.
Can I cut you off for a second here?
Yep.
You guys gave me a lot of shit for putting Pittsburgh Pirates on my power rankings. Can we look at what they're doing? Can we just shout me out here?
I didn't. Did I give you shit?
All right, mainly Jack. I'm putting you in there.
I think it was Jack. No, don't rope me in with him. I'm not roped in with him.
I mean,
can you take that back, Jack? I just want to hear an I'm sorry and you were right.
You were right, V. The Buccos are not. I don't want to say they're good. They're not bad. The Buccos are not bad. Okay. But back to my point. I can't really have too much of a gripe with what you said, V. The Rays look amazing. They're pitching really well, and they're hitting so many home runs, which is, really been the issue with this team the last couple of years. They pitch really well, but they don't score runs. And now this year we're seeing them, just be sluggers just out of nowhere. Yeah. So that's been awesome for them. I'm not too fond of the Rays. And the Blue Jays, with Kevin Gausman pitching the way he's been, if he could be a true number one pitcher, they're going to be really, really tough because then they have really two number ones with him and Manoah. And their lineup is probably the second best in the AL. Maybe you could say the best. Depends on, who's hot. And I know Springer's been, a little bit shaky to start, but, Bichette's been really good. And, yeah, I mean, they're a really deep team. So I could definitely see this happening. The Yanks are going to need to get healthy. We're going to need to get Judge back, who's just on the IL. We're going to need to get Stanton back. We're going to need to get Bader back. Rodon is going to be a key piece to this team. Once those things are, all smoothed out, I definitely, if we're still struggling, I think that's going to be a real cause for concern. I already am concerned, but that would be like, we gotta, if we don't make the playoffs with this roster, then, heads are going to roll. People are going to get fired. So that would be a real cause for concern. But, I can't really have too much of a gripe with what you said, B.
I think, we started talking on a little bit, Jack, but I think it's a perfect transition to just probably, I imagine, keep talking poorly about the Yankees. So why don't you start off your segment? Let's go.
Yeah. Welcome to today's Jack Off. It's gonna be a doozy. So today's member of the Jack Off is going to be Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman has made the Jack Off. Okay. Oh man, now Brian, I've had no bullshit button so far from V. Brian has. I've said in the past how he's really bothered me with his arrogance. Right, he'll make a move and then he's almost trying to prove himself right, and he doesn't move off the player for an extended period of time. He did it with Joey Gallo. He would not move Gallo after he struggled so much that first year, kept him the second year, almost into a point where this man's career was ruined because he looked so bad at the plate. Then they eventually get nothing for him. I think they trade him for a extremely lower level prospect, and now he's doing better this year. They are doing the same thing with Aaron Hicks. So I have made some comments. So I went in the lab. I researched some moves Brian Cashman has made and I did it over an extended period of time. And these are some of my, I think most of the egregious errors Cashman has made. And I almost think I know the Yankees have all these analytics and these numbers, but I think he's an extremely emotional decision maker. I don't think he uses these analytics as much as, he wants to say he does. So in 2013, if you remember, Robinson Cano, it was in a contract year. Okay, let's paint a little picture. Cano absolutely tears it up for the Yanks, probably has the best year of his career. OPS north of 140, hits 27 bombs, 107 RBIs. He's top 5 in AL MVP, guys. He's hitting 900 OPS, okay? 314 average, too. So he's really doing it all. Playing Gold Glove caliber defense at second base. He's in a contract year. Now, at this point, it's 2013, right? The Yankees, this is when, Jeter's getting old, Teixeira's getting old, A-Rod, I believe, is suspended at this time. You have CC on the team still. And a lot of, Cano was our best player, definitely our best hitter. And there was a lot of conversation of, how much money will he demand? So Cano ends up obviously signing with Seattle, 10 years, $240 million. And, the Yankees kind of sold it as this, we're trying to kind of retool as a team. So we want to get under the luxury tax, retool the team. We're going to make some smart moves, save some money, and then spend it another year. And I was completely fine with that. I thought that for Seattle was an overpay, and I think people would say, it probably was. But what do they do about a month later is Cashman almost seems like bitter that they lost Cano, who was signed management, Rock Nation and Jay-Z managed and were the agents for Cano. He ends up going to Seattle. They signed Jacoby Ellsbury to a 7-year, $153 million deal, giving him $21 million a year, only $3 million less than Cano. Ellsbury ends up playing 520 games for the Yanks, 7 years. So he got a 7-year deal, played 520 games, and never had an OPS plus over 100. So was never an above average hitter. And then we know how it went, where he basically had a concussion and then missed 3 years of play. And the Yankees had to basically take him to court to get that money back. Like, they literally took him to court, okay? So that happened in 2013. I think that is an emotional decision, okay? Extremely emotional decision. Now we go to 2017. The Yankees find their way to get this really good team. You have young Aaron Judge, young Gary Sanchez, just Starlin Castro was on the team. We have this really young team, kind of fun, and we're winning a lot. Okay, we win. This is Aaron Judge's rookie year. Win the wild card game. We find ourselves in the ALCS. We end up losing. Right. Then we decide to trade for Giancarlo Stanton. And at the time, I really didn't mind it because it is what it is. But I was a little curious because it's like, why are we? He just came off his MVP season. Why are we getting Stanton, who is basically the same as Judge? A high strikeout guy, a high power guy, another right-handed hitter. It doesn't really match our ballpark. Why wouldn't we want a left-handed hitting power hitter? I just didn't really understand that. Okay, so in 2017, that happened. 2018, we end up losing to Boston in the divisional round. Then who's free agents in 2018 that we could not sign? Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. They go unsigned until the 2019 spring training and got, if we look back on it, pennies on the dollar. They got nothing compared to what they would have got if they hit the open market, a couple years after, right, closer to today. So we could not sign Machado or Harper, who, the Yankee brand, you sign the best guys. That's like what the Yankees have always done. We could not sign them because we make the trade for Stanton, which completely handcuffs us, okay? We'll go back to 2017, where the Yankees trade for Sonny Gray. Okay, we trade for Sonny Gray. I didn't hate the move, but, Larry Rothschild, probably one of the worst pitching coaches, just refused to use any of the new, pitching tools, didn't like the spin rate or the pitch axis, didn't like any of that. We add Sonny Gray. He pitches 2 years for the Yanks, has a 4.5 ERA in his time with the Yanks. Now, what is he doing? He's leading MLB in ERA. Okay, just to let you know. Now, V, do you know who we gave up for Sonny Gray? Do you know?
That person went to Oakland, correct?
All three of these guys went to Oakland. James Caprillion, Dustin Fowler, and Jorge Mateo. Jorge Mateo is now on the Baltimore Orioles. V, how's Jorge Mateo doing this year?
Well, he's doing pretty good.
He's hitting .395 with 6 home runs, and his OPS plus is north of 180. 180. Okay? So this is what's going on. So now, you see now, we have this team. We're the second highest payroll in baseball. And you have Peraza, who we refuse to trade, that can't hit the ball. You have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa playing center field, who can't hit the ball. You have Aaron Hicks out there, who, is a fifth outfielder on a horrendous team. He's starting for us because we're so thin. Brian Cashman didn't really promise, but he asserted that after we signed Carlos Rodon, we gave him 6 years, 162, hasn't made a start for us, by the way, yet. That we try to get an outfielder. Tried for Brian Reynolds, didn't get him. He just re-signed with the Pirates. Wanted to give Benintendi money. He got paid by the White Sox. Couldn't get that done. They re-signed Judge. Like, you want me to be proud of you that you re-signed Aaron Judge when basically the only reason we almost lost Aaron Judge was because you leaked the contract details to the press. Like, that's what you did, Brian Cashman. So, and just to go over some of these numbers, just the Yankee lineup, 27th in total hits, last in doubles, 25th in RBIs, 26th in average, 26th in on-base percentage, 21st in slugging, 23rd in OPS, and 29th in BABIP, which is batting average per balls hit in play. So just think about it. We're 29th. Only the Dodgers have a worse BABIP. So it's just, and now we learned that Loaiza's out for the year. It seems like this roster is paper thin. We have, lower than replacement level guys playing vital roles for our team right now. DJ LeMahieu's hitting 4th for this team. 4th. It's just, it's a joke. I just don't understand it. And, this is now the Yankees. Like, this is who we are. We are a team of, rough around the edges, and we kind of have to just make it work and steal a bunch of bases because that's exciting baseball. And I mean, I hated the whole strikeout or home run era, but now we're not even like top 10 in home runs. We're not even hitting home runs like that anymore. Our offense is horrendous. So, man, I cannot believe that this is what happened. And Cashman got an extension. But this team has to make the playoffs. Like, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, I don't think they'll fire Cashman, but I think they'll probably fire Boone. And to be honest, I don't think Boone makes that many decisions. I think Cashman lays out a whole plan for him, like what Brody Van Wagen used to do, calling down to the Mets dugout. I think Cashman does all that shit. I don't think people really are tuned into it. I think Cashman does all that shit.
Boone is a fucking puppet.
Yeah, of course.
He's a puppet.
Yeah. But that's why Girardi got fired, because Girardi didn't like Cashman. He wanted to do his own thing. He wanted the power to make his own decisions.
Yeah, I still don't understand. Bruce Bochy said he wanted to come back to baseball. How did the Yankees not go get Bruce Bochy?
I don't know.
When the Mets just got Buck. Listen, I don't love all the decisions, but Buck's a great manager most of the time. I'd say he's way better than Boone. I think if Buck manages the Yankees probably could scrap a couple.
I can't even say that Boone's a bad manager. I mean, maybe he struggles with the bullpen, but I don't think he makes decisions. He makes decisions.
You're right.
So it's kind of just disgusting to me. How is this the Yankees? And I know the Steinbrenner kids, they care more about, this, as long as the stadium's filled, they're not really going to care too much, right? They're just worried about making money. They're trying to be billionaires themselves. So it's like, it is what it is. So I understand that, whatever. You don't really care about the team being good. But the GM should care about the team being good, right? And there's teams that have far better rosters than us that spend half the money, a quarter of the money. Like, I don't know what to say. This team, this roster is obviously flawed, and Brian Cashman's going to get the jack off today.
Oh, as he should. As he should. You know what I hate?
Well,
I hate thinking about Bryce Harper. Because,
perfect Yankee.
I mean, and you know what's funny? So, like, I'm going to also. Perfect Yankee, I completely agree. But you know what was funny is the Mets at the time, when he was a free agent, were asked, why haven't you entertained Bryce Harper? And the Wilpons at the time go, oh, we can't see us having two $25 million plus players. Because
Yeah.
they had Cespedes with
Right.
that type of payroll. What? You're New York.
Yeah.
You're New York. If Cohen was
Oh my
the owner
God.
of the Mets, Harper is on the Mets. I can almost guarantee you.
But
Let
it's
alone,
crazy.
it blows my mind he wasn't a Yankee, by the way. Blows my mind.
It's crazy to think though, because I think at the time maybe he got like 20 something million a year. Like he got so much less than what he would have got just a few years later in 2020 if he had the open market, 2021 if he had the open market. And you see now Machado ends up opting out, and they said, we'll pay you even more. So it's crazy to me, and it's just so many errors have kind of just compounded now, right? And we hold on to the wrong prospects and let go. It's just like so many errors are made, and it's caused this team that is now paper thin. We see it. The best two hitters are hurt. We can't score more than 2 runs. Like we're not even like an average team where if Judge got hurt, at least in the past couple of years, like we'd still be all right. Like when we had Luke Voigt and when we had other guys, Edwin Encarnacion, like we had the power guys still. But now, I mean, this team can't even hit the ball at the infield. It's horrendous.
Now that is a lengthy jack off right there.
Sorry, guys.
That's one of those you don't like feel too good afterwards. It's like, why did I just do that? No, but
pain.
Jack, I don't disagree with a single thing you said. One very frustrating part as a Yankee fan is I remember this offseason. Obviously, last year didn't end like you wanted it to because you didn't win a World Series. And, like, what did we do? Bring our own superstar back and then add an injury-ridden pitcher? Yeah. I mean, it's like
you can't ask for a pat on the back for bringing back Judge. Like he should have been a Yankee. Like we should have already re-signed him.
Been a doubt.
Yeah, like look what the Braves have done. They get a young player, he plays 2 or 3 years, he proves he's good, then they buy out his arbitration, give him 10 years, he'll be a Brave for life. That's what the Braves have done. It works. It's like a foolproof plan. But Cashman thinks like he could just outsmart people, and he had to bite the bullet on the Judge contract, and now he has a perfect cop out. Like, oh, Judge is taking up all our salaries, so I can't make better moves and sign better players. It's like, dude, it's your fault. So,
yep. Well said, Jack. Well said. That was a great segment as always. Fellas, it's time for Big D's Big Odds. Last week was just an experience. It was a full body experience. I feel like I changed physically, mentally, spiritually, politically. V had that was the miracle on Riverside right there. It was just like pulling it out of nowhere. So last week as a whole ended in a tie. V is still up on the season because we've seen Jack in a Mets hat twice, and I've only seen V in a Yankees hat once. So Jack, it's your redemption week. Come on.
Yeah, let's
get
go.
This going.
Come on.
I am going to start again. So when I name a line for a team, the opposing guy answers first. We're changing things up. So we're going to start with the Mets line. I know V's excited to discuss this one, Jack, but Verlander looks like he's going to be getting the start. So I'm going to set an over on an underline on innings pitched by Justin Verlander.
Okay.
At 5.5.
5.5. Did it? Damn, 5.5.
So if he goes 5 1/3, does that count?
Gotta go over 5.
No.
Oh no, I guess
if he gets 2 outs. So if he gets 2 outs in the 6th, that's good. Right?
Let's do 5 1/3. Over under 5 1/3.
Okay.
Got it.
Whew, I don't know. Mets are pretty cautious with their pitchers. I don't think Scherzer's even gone over, right? I don't think he's pitched in the sixth inning once.
He pitched 6 innings, I think, once so far.
Yeah. So I'm going to go under here, not because I think I'll have a bad start, just because I think the Mets are going to be a little bit cautious. Maybe he's on a bit of a pitch count. I didn't actually see. Maybe that's already the case. But, yeah, I did see it catch his rehab start, V. He did look pretty sharp there. He looked, exactly like himself. So at least, physically, I'm not sure if he ended up allowing any runs or anything. But he looked good. Like, his motion looked good. He didn't seem like he was fatigued at all.
Yeah.
So under for me.
So I think in his rehab start, he threw somewhere around 60 to 70 pitches.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine he has a full let go of throwing 100 pitches. So otherwise, I think that's an easy over. I think that this guy just is just a guy who's a workhorse. He's going to throw 6, 7 innings. But nonetheless, I'm going to take the over. I think Verlander's going to hit 6 innings. I think the Detroit lineup just isn't that amazing, and I think he could carve him up pretty quickly.
All right, V.
Very good. All right, V, gonna go to you for a Yankees line. So Jack touched on this a little bit, but right now the Yankees are tied for 11th in home runs on the season with 34. Obviously, Judge is responsible for a lot of those. He has 6, and he's not going to play in this upcoming series. So I'm going to set an over-under on Yankees total home runs for this series against the Guardians at 3.5.
It's a 3-game series.
Yes.
Are they home or away?
They're home.
For that reason alone, I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the over here. Just think, short porch, something. I don't know. Luck's got to be on our side eventually, Come on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Rizzo could easily just say part 2.
Yep. Yep.
All right, we'll see. Hopefully we find some power. Jack, Lindor is currently leading the Mets with 11 doubles on the season.
Yep. Probably
as
more
of
than
this
the whole
recording.
Yankees team.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm going to set an over-under on Lindor's doubles for this upcoming series against the Tigers at 1.5.
Ooh, 1.5. I'm going to go over for Lindor. I know I was talking a little bit of smack about him last time, but I don't know. Tigers just have horrendous pitching. I don't know. I'm going to go over. Not much else to say.
Funny. So I was watching today's game, and I got to say Lindor's swing looked really good today. I don't think he had a lot to show for it. And the last game against the Nationals, his swing looked really good. Might be finding it, lower level pitching. I'm going to take the over, but I'm tempted to not take the over because I actually think he could drive the ball a little more. I could see it like a home run or two in the series. So I'll take the over for sure.
All right, and we got one more Yankees line. V, the Yankees are currently sitting at 15-14, and I have a yes or no question for you.
Oh, okay.
There's still only 2 choices. Don't worry, dude. You can handle this.
You really messed me up out here.
Yes or no? Will the Yankees fall to a 500 record at some point in the series? Over.
Oh, boy.
So if they lose the first game, that counts.
Correct.
Jack B, do you know who's starting first game?
I'm watching the first game right now.
Oh, it's on.
Domingo.
Fuck it. Let's just have some fun with this. Let's take.
Jack. You don't have to tell him.
Let's take So if I say yes, that means they're going to fall 500 or below. So I'm going to say yes.
Wait. So if they fall 500, then it's
Jack. Yes or no? Do you think the Yankees will fall to 500 during this series?
Okay. I'm gonna go with no.
He's hopeful. I like it.
You know why, V?
Why is that?
Jose Trevino just hit a home run, as you were answering.
This is just bullshit. I call this collusion. I'm going to call the BQB headquarters.
I mean, you got eyes on the Mets. I got eyes on the Yanks. Come on.
We weren't betting on the Mets game. By the way, the Mets won, so at least we got a win.
Good.
Well, now we'll both do well on the home runs one because there's already one in the books. How about that?
Hey, there you go. True. All right, last one. We have a combined effort here. Jack, it is your turn to go first. You kind of talked about how the Yankees aren't really hitting the ball, but you know what? Yankees are 27th with 212 hits prior to the Mets' second game and the Yankees' current game tonight. The Mets are 25th in the league with 213. So neither team is hitting the ball very well. So I'm going to set an over-under line. They're averaging about 7 hits per game, for the record. I'm going to set an over-under line on total hits for the two teams in their combined 6 games at 42.5.
6 games, 42.5. So
Do you have the math, Dave, there for how many average we need in games?
So the teams
7.
are averaging 7 a game as of right now. Yankees, I think, are a little skewed because, no Judge. But he was kind of not hitting the ball too well anyway. So
Yeah, so that'd be 7 a game. 42.5. I'm going to go under just because the Yankees suck right now and they can't get hits.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
agree.
Who hit a home run?
Jack just started a fire.
That was a hot take right there. Wow. Love the alarms. You want to know
If
why
only-
the alarm is...
If only we could time that with one of your hot takes.
That's right. That'd be fucking amazing. But anyways, Jack, I'm going to make this real interesting because I'm a fun gambler. I'm going to take the over. I think it's because the Mets are going to hit the shit out of the ball this upcoming couple of days.
Wow, what a hot take that was. Not the Yanks?
Not the X.
Oh.
Takes a true expert to call it like that.
That's right. That's right.
Very good. All right. So, hey, we got some disagreement on the board, which is always good. Somebody will come away with a lead after this episode. So we love to see that.
We need I need to take a nice lead on the season here.
Yeah, keep adding to the list. And I can't wait to do a all-star game check-in on our seasonal ones. That'll be very interesting to see. I hope no one forgot about those. I certainly did, but we can go back and check the books. All right. That just about does it for our segments. Quickly, V, I know you got a lot to say. You got an exciting upcoming series. You got your boys back in the rotation. Why don't you break it down for us with some quick thoughts, comments, concerns, questions?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of questions here are, is the Mets rotation going to finally be what it's supposed to be? It was advertised as the start of season. And Max Scherzer is coming off his 10-game sticky substance suspension. That's a freaking tongue twister there. And, so he's pitching, I believe, Wednesday. And Justin Verlander is scheduled to make his Mets debut on Thursday, both against the Tigers, which I was really hoping Verlander was going to pitch Friday because I wanted to go to the game. But clearly, our luck, Dave, we already know this. I'll never get to watch him this year, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to watch Verlander, especially. Very excited to watch him finally pitch in a Mets uniform. I've never really watched him that much, as he's always pitched, the AL Central and AL West his entire career. But he's a Hall of Famer. Super excited. I think he's still one of the top pitchers in the league. And now with those two big dogs in the rotation, the Mets rotation has averaged maybe 5 innings throughout the season and have the 28th worst ERA. We need these guys to step up, pitch really well, and hopefully that happens. And I'd like to see a series win. They haven't won. They lost against the Nationals. They lost against the Braves now. We got to come back. We got to win. And that'd be nice. And we got the Rockies after that. So hopefully some 2 quote-unquote lighter series. But we got to win because we're not hitting well, as you guys already know.
Yeah, V, that's some good points there. The Yankees, just to pivot real quick, the Yankees are going to have 3 at home against the Guardians of the Galaxy out in Cleveland. Tomorrow we'll have Garrett Cole in the bump, which will be great. And then Wednesday we'll have Clark Schmidt, which will be horrendous. But it's very important that we get at least 2 of 3 because after that we're facing the Rays on the road, which is just I am not very excited for that. And then we're facing the A's, which is going to be nice. But then we get the Rays again at home and then right to the Blue Jays. So things could go really, really bad for the Yanks in the next 2 weeks if they don't keep their head above water. Because, facing the Rays 6 times in about 10 days, not great when you don't have your two best hitters in the lineup. So we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. As always, that's an excellent 15th episode, fellas. Thank you for blessing us with all your baseball knowledge once again. Hey, V, they can find us on Instagram.
Oh, they can find us on Instagram at BQB Podcast.
And I know Jack's all over the talks. Jack, where can they find us on TikTok?
They can find us on the talk at BQB Podcast.
And finally, you can find us on Twitter, and not finally, because we're on YouTube, Facebook, all that at BQB Podcast. We make it nice and easy. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, blah, 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 and a billion other things. So if you like us, tell your sketchy uncle. We all have one, and he'll like us too. I'll see you guys next time.